It's Boss Talk where stories unfold. From the hustle to the power of gold. We talk dreams, we talk big plans. Light it up with your own hands.
All right, what's going on, everybody? It's your girl, Deanna Diaz, aka the Million Dollar Sis. And you already know you are tuned in to another wonderful episode of Boss Talk. This one will be biased because I actually know this person personally. But before we get started, I have to go ahead and do my famous intros. So, raised in Homewood as the oldest of three boys, Joseph learned early what it meant to navigate life without a safety net after his father left when he was just 7 years old. Like many young men searching for directions in the 90s, he's found himself caught in the streets, a path that ultimately led to a 20 to 40-year prison sentence at just 19 years old and as a first time offender. But Joseph refused to let his sentence define his future. After successfully appealing his case, his time was reduced, and in 2006, he walked out of prison determined to rewrite his story, not just for himself, but for the generations behind him. What followed wasn't easy. He survived being shot after work in 2014, endured a devastating car accident that broke his neck, faced obstacle after obstacle that could have taken him out, but instead, they built him up. A proud father of five, Joseph turned pain into purpose. He joined a labor union, became invested in stock, and in 2019 launched Pittsburgh Tri-State Cleaning Techs, a business born out of necessity and fueled by resilience to provide for his family when life forced him to pivot. Today, Joseph Cole represents discipline, redemption, and relentless forward motion. Proof that your past may shape you, but it does not get to sentence your future. Everybody give it up for Mr. Joseph Colton today. Yay!
That was a hell of an intro.
What'd you say?
To get a Grammy for that intro.
Oh, snap. Speaking into existence now. So, but thank you so much for being here today. Yes, I did give you your intro, but I want the people to hear from you and you tell them a little bit about yourself.
My name is Joseph Colton. I'm the founder of Pittsburgh Tri-State Cleaning Techs. We started our business in 2019. I'm a proud father of five. I'm a homeowner, a taxpayer, a registered voter. I'm a stock investor. I'm a whole lot of things.
I mean, these days you got to be, right?
Yeah, just able to survive out here. You need
Okay.
multiple streams of income.
Several, definitely several. I'm glad you said that. So I'm going to go ahead and dive into your history a little bit. So you said that you were sentenced to decades in prison at just 19. Was there a specific moment inside where you decided your life was going to mean much more than your past?
Um, was probably like 3 years into me being locked up. Um, I ended up was in a riot when I was up at SCI Albion, which is up in Erie, PA. It's a prison
Okay.
up in Erie, and I was in a riot up there, and they had put me in a hole for like a year. Like the hole was like a place where they put people that get misconducts, like you're in prison. So you
Mm-hmm.
don't really see anybody. You're like locked up like 23-1. So you only probably and that's like every other day. So really like 24 hours, but every other day they'll let you out to get some air. So like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, they'll let you out for like an hour to get a shower and then they get some air.
Okay. Now, when you say 23 and 1, what does that mean?
You're locked in a cell for 23 hours and they give you 1 hour recreation.
Wow.
That's just
Gee.
to get out and get air, but you still shackled while you're outside in a cage, in a dog cage. A little bit, well, I would say a human cage because it's taller, it's a little higher up, but it's a cage. So you're in there by yourself for like 1 hour,
Mm-hmm.
and that's being generous if they give you the whole hour. Because sometimes they'll cut into that and be like, well, we give you 30 minutes, and then you get 30 minutes to take a shower.
Dang. Sheesh. So, all right.
So by me being in there,
Mm-hmm.
For that whole year going through that, that gave me a lot of time to think. And I was like, wow, I do not want to be living this lifestyle, like in the streets, gang banging, selling drugs, just tearing up my community. It gave me a lot of time to think, and I was able to read. They do give you books to read.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a friend of mine's used to send me books, and I used to do a lot of reading.
What was
So,
your favorite type of books to read?
um, about money. I don't know if you know about Dr. Claude Anderson. Um, I don't know if you ever heard of Dr. Claude Anderson, but he's more of a like a financial guru, and
Okay.
he had White Man's Wealth, Black. I can't even remember the name of the books. He had a few books, and they're about wealth, and another one was how do I pronounce Poor Dad, Rich Dad. I don't know if you ever heard of that book.
Yeah, I've heard of that one.
Yeah, that was
So,
another one I read.
Dr. Claude Anderson, Black Labor, White Wealth. Is that
Yes,
the book
exactly.
you're talking
Yes,
about? Okay.
yes, that's
It,
it.
it just popped up. And he also has another book called Powernomics.
Economic. Yup. Powernomics. Hmm.
Okay. What is something that top three things that you got out of that book that you read?
Um, One of the main ones was how it was the way we thought about money. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of us we don't cherish money or respect money. Um, a lot of us will just take money and we'll just spend it, like just spend it on a lot of material things instead of like doing invest. Instead of us investing our money, we'll just spend it on a lot of material things. Instead of like, a lot of us will get our income tax
Mm-hmm.
and we'll go buy TV, furniture, things of that nature. Instead of us taking that money and looking at if you get like five, six, $7,000 return and
Mm-hmm.
take that money and that'll be a down payment on a home. That'll boost your income up right there. Just alone your net worth up. A lot of people know that the biggest purchase in your life will be like a home. You purchasing a home, and that boosts your net worth up because a lot of homes they they don't never they keep appreciating over years over time. Like instead of like you get a car, it depreciates.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the things I learned was mostly about money
Mm-hmm.
and the way you think about money. About respecting money. A lot of us like one day I was working for a company called Shelton Masonry. When I first came home from prison, I went to school. It was a trade school in Wilkinsburg at the Hosanna House. It was called Shelton Trade School.
Okay.
Right. Today it's called Pittsburgh Trade Institute.
Oh,
Today,
okay.
but I went at the beginning stages of like when it first kind of opened, and I went to trade school with him. And then after I graduated, they gave me a job with them doing masonry work.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember one day we was in Homewood, we was doing a job, and he was looking. We was looking on the ground. It was like all these pennies and quarters all on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at. He was like, he said, all these poor people around here and all this money just laying on the ground. People don't respect money.
Mm.
Like want to complain about being poor,
But there's money on the ground, right?
but there's money on the ground. Yep.
Oh my goodness. So, if you could go back and give your 19-year-old self one sentence of advice, what would it be?
Um, Respect people. Look, one of the main things that I learned too was your actions. Your actions, especially when they're bad action, they don't just affect you or the person that you harm. They affect that family, your family, and the whole community. Because a lot of people will look at you.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the kids might respect you because they think that's cool to be like a gangster or a drug dealer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But you're putting not you just the actions that you create it damage the community in a major way
Yeah.
where it just it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain how it just affects so many different people in so many ways. I,
Yeah.
I had a cat. I had a kid, young kid. When I first came home from prison, he was like he was a little bit older when I came home. Now I feel I was 19, so he probably was about like 12, 13 or something at the time.
Mm-hmm.
When I came home, he was like, "Man, I used to look up to you."
Mm.
And I said, "Yeah." I like look up to what? He was like, you was a gangster out there, and I was like, man, that's not nothing to look up to.
Yeah.
Like, look at it landed me in prison.
Mm.
I mean, then it not only it affect me and the person I hurt, but by you looking up to me, that affected you too. Because I was a bad influence,
Right.
and you thought you respected that.
You thought you
You know?
was the man. Right.
hmm
And that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Well, what were you able to tell him about that? How did you correct that?
I just told him like to have better dreams and never to look up to people like that because like he at the time he was a rapper. He ended up getting killed in prison. His name was a lot of people know him as Lil Brucey. He
Oh,
ended up he ended up getting killed out here. Later on, a couple of years later, after I seen him and his brother got killed in the same month or whatever, or a month apart or something like that. But he
jeez.
was a like inspired rapper in Pittsburgh.
What side of town was he from?
He's from Homewood.
He was. That's so unfortunate. Mm. Well, I want to talk about your business for a little bit. So, tell us about how that came into fruition.
So I started in 2019, and the reason why I really started, um, I was in the labor union at the time,
Hmm.
and then I was in a car accident in 2017, 18,
Hmm.
up in Detroit, and I was a passenger, and I ended up breaking my neck. I had to get a surgery on my neck, and they had to fuse my C1 and C2 together. So, the surgeon doctor told me I could never go back to doing that type of work because I was working in Clareton Steel Mill at the time. I was there for like a couple of years.
Hmm.
And that was like a sweet job for me because we really didn't have to do that much work. We just really just laid around, and it was like a retirement type of job for me. You know,
Okay.
so but I got a lot of overtime also, so I kind of loved that job.
Hmm.
Made good money, and we got a lot. We worked 4 10s and got a lot of overtime. But
Hmm.
by me getting hurt, I could never go back to that, so I had to think of something to do. At this time, I had 3 kids. At this time,
Okay.
I had 3 kids, so I'm like, I'm a go getter. I gotta provide for my kids. I gotta have some
Yeah.
type of income. And they telling me you can go on disability, and I can't live off of no disability check. I got too much
Shoot.
going on.
Can't nobody
So
really live off
I
no.
was trying to think of something to invest money in, and
Hmm.
so I can make an income, some type of business. And I was looking into all different types of things, trying to get a subway, trying to, I don't know. I was thinking of different things. And then the thing that I used to do when I first got in the labor union, we used to do a lot of cleaning up on a lot of these post construction jobs.
Hmm.
And I was like, they make a lot of money. And it was like low cost. So I didn't have to invest a lot of money into it.
Okay. Yeah.
So I launched that business in 2019, and then went head first, went all in on that. And that's now 7 years later, and I'm still around.
7 years. That's awesome. Like that is something. 7 years. Some people can't even make it past 3 years, and you made it to seven. What are you gonna do for your 10th anniversary?
I don't know. I was thinking about having like an anniversary party sometime in the summertime.
Yes.
You know, probably have it like I got an office space and stuff. Maybe have it in the office wherever.
Yeah. Like
Like
you got.
people to past employees, people, a lot of my clients. Inviting people that was like all part of it.
Yeah. So you said you have employees, but what is something that you learned about hiring the right people and how to manage individuals, because everybody has individual needs, and they learn different, they think different, and tell us about that part.
Oh, it's a lot. Everybody's different.
Yes.
Everybody's different. Just during the hiring process, as over years, you just learn how to read people, and
Hmm.
then you see their resume. But resume, you get
You can put
you could
anything on a
yeah,
resume.
you could put anything on there, and some people are like, yeah, I got experience, and then you put them out on the field, and they're not. You're like, oh, he don't even know what he's doing. So, and over time, I had so many employees over these 7 years, man. I had people that last a week, some people that last 5 years with me.
That's a week. What you doing to them people? What, they only last
I
a
mean,
week?
they didn't, it wasn't for them. Everything ain't for everybody. So I tell people all the time, you want to do something that you love.
Mm.
You don't want to. My brother, my youngest brother. He asked me. He just got a job offer for the 911, taking the 911 calls.
Oh,
But
this.
yeah,
Okay.
dispatcher. Yeah, but he currently works at like PNC, and he's happy with that. He said he loves his job. Because he could work remotely at home. And he asked me like, "What you think I should do?" And I
Mm,
said, take the one that you love. Like,
right.
you don't want to always work for the money, because you might get the money, but you might be miserable in the job. You
Mhm.
know, I would just take the one. If it's paying good and you love the job, I would just keep that one. But you got to make, it's your life. You got to make the decision. But I just, from my experience of working in the field and stuff, I think you just should take the one that you love.
Right. 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 Wow. So now moving on, as a father of five, how has your journey shaped the way you teach your children about choices, accountability, and legacy?
Um, I I kind of go back to from my grandparents, then my mother, how I was raised.
Mhm.
I add a little bit of their, what they taught, and I twist mine and my teaching in there a little bit different,
Mhm.
because times are different these days. We're in the era now. We're getting into the AI and all that things. But I discipline my kids by talking to them. I try to be like real. We're real, like we're all real tight. Like not say I don't want to say the friend thing. What I mean, because that's your children, but we're like real tight
Y'all
where they
have
could
fun.
yeah, where they could come to me with anything, and tell me about anything. And sometimes I yell, but not for the most part. I don't yell. I sit down and talk to them, and only one I probably yell at the most is my youngest is 3 years old. He's
Don't
bad.
be yelling at the baby.
He's bad.
Yelling at the
I
baby.
gotta yell at him. You don't yell at him, he'll laugh at you and then run, and
I think you playing.
yeah, and he'll hit you and everything. You gotta sometimes put the hand to his
Oh,
times.
hmm. Yeah, wow. Oh, bless his heart. Bless
But
his.
I try to teach my kids about financial literacy a lot too.
Mhm.
I have all of them. They're all invested into the stock market. They all have like 5 figures in the stock market. So I try to I make them earn their money. Like some of the videos that I post and things. My 9 year old, she does that for me, and I pay her for it. You know,
Okay.
yeah. And sometimes I'll put some of the money in the stock market, and I'll give her some money so she could go spend it.
Right.
What I mean? Like they like Five Below. That's their favorite
Oh
store. So
my gosh, these kids love them some five. I
when
think
we was younger, we had Toys R Us and Children's Palace and places like that. They really don't have no toy stores no more.
no, they gotta go to the toy section of Walmart. I used to love
Walmart, the Target.
to the toy section of Walmart. Like my mom can literally just leave me in the toy section while she shops, and I would be right there.
Back in the day, these days I'm scared. I ain't leaving my kid nowhere. I don't
Mm-mm.
care where out, man. I'm like, come on, I gotta look and see where y'all at.
Yeah, times is definitely weird out here. Yeah,
Hmm.
this, and they do the most craziness, and there's the most cameras out here. That's the wild
Yeah, yeah. There wasn't that many cameras back when we was younger.
thing. All right, so we are coming up on our 20-minute mark, but before you go, you have to do the $1 million lightning round. Are you ready?
Okay, yeah. What's this? What's the 20?
So all
20?
we do is I'm gonna ask you this or that questions, and you have to choose either or. So let's go ahead and get into it. No thinking, just answer the question.
All right.
All right, survivor mindset or warrior mentality?
Survivor mindset,
Street lessons or book lessons?
book lessons, both.
No, you can't say both. Discipline or motivation?
Motivation,
Union life or entrepreneur life?
entrepreneur life,
Building wealth or building legacy?
building wealth,
Fear or faith?
faith,
Hustle or strategy?
strategy,
Comfort zone or pressure?
pressure,
Respect or success?
success,
When people hear your story, are they inspired or do they take it as a warning?
inspire,
Oh,
inspiration.
okay. All right. Well, that was awesome. Thank you so much for playing the $1 million lightning round. So, but yeah, we're about to wrap this up. So you go ahead and let everybody know how they can reach you down below. This is a nationwide / global audience. So go ahead and let the people know.
You can reach me on Facebook, Pittsburgh Tri-State Cleaning Techs. You can reach me on LinkedIn. It's Pittsburgh Tri-State Cleaning Techs. You can reach me on Instagram or Google, Pittsburgh Tri-State Cleaning Techs. Website, Pittsburgh Tri-State Cleaning Tech.com.
Mhm.
Email Pittsburgh Tri-State Cleaning Tech at gmail.com.
Inside the fire glow, watch your seeds begin to grow. Boss talk, where your story flies underneath the city lights. Boss talk, hear the voices rise. Every boss owns the sky.